Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, August 6th. So the moon is going to be in Cancer pretty much all day. It is going to be moving void, of course, around 7:12 p.m., but it won't enter into Leo energy until early Saturday morning. So we definitely have the bulk of the day to still kind of sit in our feels, to kind of bust away from the old attachments and really kind of align with the new. And of course, there's just a lot of insight coming in. Our intuition is strong. We are hypersensitive, connecting to subtle energies outside of us. And we are really needing this time to kind of nurture ourselves back to a place of safety and security, especially after the days we just had. So there's 8 different moon aspects taking place today. Out of 10, we are definitely in this new moon window. We're still kind of surrendering to the dark forces, the dark energies, the dark thoughts and emotions coming up. We have to surrender to them. We cannot fight them. We want them to unearth themselves from deep inside our subconscious and to rise to the surface so that Sirius, our spiritual sun that is going to be direct with the earth at its highest peak on that 8-8 portal, will blaze those vibrations away. So the moon in Cancer, Sextiles, Venus in Virgo. This is a beautiful energy to kind of awaken to because it means that we're feeling a lot more stable within ourselves, a lot more stable within our emotions. We're recognizing now where it is we have to give ourselves a little bit more love, where it is we have to be a little bit more empathetic and understanding to our inner process that we're going through. We understand now that we have to nurture ourselves back to a stable place. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but when you're so consumed in the previous days of your past attachments and your past pain and your past trauma, it feels really foreign to actually love yourself. It is a journey that many of us will be on for our entire lifespan here in this physical realm. But we're slowly learning that we can't be looking outside of ourselves for love, that we have to fill in all of those voids within us, that we can't nurture other people and expect, to be fulfilled when we don't get that energy reciprocated. We have to do the job ourselves. We have to save ourselves. So the moon in Cancer bumps into Mercury in Leo. Now, this is really going to help us out a little bit because, again, we've been struggling to get our heart and our head on the same page. We have Mercury in Leo, very fired up, wanting to speak out, wanting to tell our side of the story, wanting to communicate our ideas. And for the most part, this particular aspect is going to help us connect the dots, first within us, second, in communicating our new realizations about where in the past we failed to honor ourselves, failed to nurture ourselves, failed to protect ourselves, and where it is that we have to make some dramatic changes and transformations in the way that we treat ourselves first and foremost, and how it is that we present ourselves to other people, how we're going to introduce ourselves and allow them to treat us. So this is going to be a good opportunity for us to kind of do that inner communication, have that inner conversation between our heart and our head, trying to stabilize ourselves, trying to get back on the same page. But that moon in Cancer just can't seem to let the past go. It's bringing old narratives up, and Mercury in Leo is trying to just rewrite the script right there and then into something that is more powerful than this victimized narrative that we seem to be looping in. This is going to bring up a lot of emotions for us. This is going to bring up a lot of triggers for us. And triggers, although they don't feel good, they are absolutely needed in order for us to make a shift in our heart space and in our mind space. It's almost like our heart and our head are kind of still arguing at this point, and every single negative that the moon in Cancer brings to the table, Mercury in Leo is trying to overwrite that with a positive. The moon in Cancer bumps into Mars in Virgo, and as you know, Mars is kind of stunted in Virgo energy. That fire energy has to act a little bit more calculated, a little bit more strategic with that energy, instead of just going, full out, full stop like Mars, that fire energy wants to do. He just wants to go from point A to point B and just, slash his sword and cut all the obstacles and challenges standing in his way right down. He doesn't want anything to slow him down. And Mars being in Virgo is the ultimate slowdown. That is ultimate pump the brakes. Now, this doesn't make us very happy. Mars is highly irritable, highly triggered in this energy because he's impatient. He's frustrated. He's a little bit angry that he can't make things happen as fast as he needs them to happen. What's coming up for us right now is this sense of urgency to take action, to make things happen, to make a change. And especially once we have an aha moment, once we have this epiphany, we want to act on it. But the universe kind of isn't supporting us in making those kind of big actions right now. And that can frustrate the hell out of us. So we're a little bit irritable at this point, and we have to pick our emotional battles a little bit more carefully. We don't want to drop gloves and fight off of everything that ticks us off. Mars and Virgo energy kind of likes to stay a little bit quiet, and that can build in a lot of intensity and frustration as well. So it's going to be super important to throw yourself into physical projects, exercise that you can kind of exert this irritation, this frustration out in a healthy way. Otherwise, you're going to end up with anxiety. You're going to end up with an upset stomach. You're going to end up with just restlessness and anger peaking. And there's just a much better way to filter that energy out. The moon in Cancer will be trining Neptune. This is exactly what we need at this point, especially after being a little bit triggered, especially after being kind of at war with ourselves from the early morning where, our heart and our head are still kind of battling things out and having these conversations to provide us with a safe, grounded center point. And the moon trining with Neptune at this time is really taking a time out from our physical realms, because again, that Mars and Virgo energy, very connected to the physical body, to our physical realms, to this, egoic avatar video game. But we got a little bit down. We don't want to feel this irritation. We don't want to feel frustrated from not being able to move forward as fast as we would like. So what do? We take a time out and we move inward. Now, the moon in Cancer, which is water on water, trining, which is a good energy, it's blending its energies with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces in her place of power. This is water on water on water on water. What does this mean? It means it's a highly emotional time. We are super sensitive, but our intuition is strong. We are connecting and strengthening our relationship with our higher self, with the cosmic intelligence. We suddenly are attaching to a higher perspective from our higher selves that's giving us the vision that we need to trigger us into a next stage of empathy for ourselves and enlightenment. What does enlightenment mean? It means that we have an aha moment. We connect the dots. We know something that now we can't retreat from. Once you know, you can't unknow. So this is going to be a good energy to pull us out of that physical frustration, pull us into a state of peace, a state of harmony, a state of knowing that we are going to rise above, knowing that the darker forces were trying to keep us down just then, and knowing that we have the tools and the resources within us to attach to our higher selves, to raise our vibration, to basically take one step forward when those dark forces had been pulling us 2 steps back. This is a good energy to continue to ride off of, because the moon in Cancer bumps into Jupiter, who of course is retrograde now in Aquarius. This is going to take that aha moment, that alignment, that intuitive vision that we just had bumping into Neptune. This is going to turn the volume up on our optimism. This is going to turn the volume up on our positivity. We are boosting ourselves up in confidence. Why? Because when we align to our higher selves, like we just did with that Neptune aspect, we suddenly see how the ego has been acting and where it is that we're not so happy with that pattern behavior because we know what it got us in the past and we're not willing to settle for that in our future. So when we kind of raise the vibration, when we have that higher vision, when we enlighten ourselves to the next level of information, well, suddenly we have a bigger, broader, more positive picture on what it is that we are moving towards. What is it that we're moving towards? Well, we want more peace. We want more love. We want more harmony in our lives. We want more abundance in our lives. And Jupiter is definitely helping us to focus in on all the quote unquote more that we actually want and what it is that we have to do within ourselves in order to actually align with that goal, with that dream, with that vision, and where it is we have to detach from the old habits, the old narratives that will only ever get us what it is we've already got. The moon in Cancer goes ahead and semi-squares the true node. This is a beautiful point in time where the previous aspects of bumping into Neptune, getting that higher vision, bumping into Jupiter, really, hyping us up and renewing our faith and our confidence in ourselves. The true node is saying, yeah, remember, this is the dream you wanted. This is the reality you're looking to manifest. How are you going to do it? And now the moon in Cancer is very focused on the fact of, yep, you're right. I was too stuck in the past. I was too attached to the old relationships, to the old narrative, to the old emotions. I was definitely the one blocking my blessings, and I'm ready to grow past that. This is essentially when we come back on track, when our mind, body, and soul is in alignment and where evolution of our soul actually happens. Now, here's the thing though. The moon in Cancer is going to be sitting across from opposing Pluto in a retrograde in Capricorn. Now, as we know, anytime Pluto comes into the arena, that is the god of the underworld. He takes us down into the depths of our darkness. He takes us on a beautiful inner journey to take a good look at our pain, a good look at our trauma, a good look at our fears, our insecurities, our vulnerabilities, and every single situation that we have chosen to give our power away. Now, why do you think that we just rode high, that we just kind of ascended to the next level of enlightenment, and now we're being pulled back down in the lower vibes? That, my friends, is the darker forces coming in, recognizing that we just kind of raised a couple levels in our vibration and is now going to pull us back down into the darkness in order to face the pain, the trauma, all of the not so nice feelings. Why? Because we have a different perspective. We just got hyped up. We just had a visual of what it is we were working towards, which means that we are strong enough and confident now to go back and face our darkness with a brand new perspective and a brand new energy. We know we have what it takes within us to emotionally transform that darkness into light, that pain into power. This is essentially recognizing what needs to die within us, where it is that a certain death, a certain destruction has to happen with the old in order for us to align and empower us with the new. So the sun is going to come into play here, and the sun in Leo wants to do nothing more than to take our power back, to be brave, to be bold, to follow our heart, to be heard, to basically take a risk and abandon the old ways of doing things in order to follow what it is that our heart and soul is now calling us to do. And the sun in Leo squares, comes into a tension point, a confrontation, if you will, with Uranus, who is in Taurus. This is going to illuminate for us where it is that we feel trapped, where it is that we feel like we're being held back, where it is that we need more space, where it is we want more freedom, where it is that we feel totally emotionally chaotic, because there is a push and pull happening between our heart and our head, between old self and new self, and we feel like our lives, even though there might not be anything going on in our exterior realms, there's a total energetic disruption going on within us. Now, does this feel good? Absolutely not. Is it supposed to? Nope. It's not supposed to feel good to ride high and then to come crashing down. It's not supposed to feel good to be illuminated to where it is that you feel blocked, where it is that you feel trapped. However, what happens is once we recognize the elements, the boundaries, the restrictions that are causing these emotions, then we can hone in on them. Then we can figure out how the hell we're going to bust these boundaries down, how it is that we're going to provide ourselves with more freedom, where it is that we need more independence in our life, where it is that we need to follow a new path, where it is we need to try new things in order to bust out of the pattern, which is totally giving us all the things that we do not want to receive. We know that now. So in this moment, the moon in Cancer jumps in and bumps into Uranus. And this is exactly what we need. It's going to feel intense. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to feel intense, but this is a shock to the system. This is a lightning bolt to our brains. This is a moment of brilliance. This is a moment of inspiration. This is an aha moment where we recognize all of the things that we just kind of got, suffocated under, the rules, the restrictions, the feeling held back, the feeling like we're suffocating under our own lives. Now we know what the problem is. We connected the dot. Now we have a shift in our mental plane, which trickles down because of the moon in Cancer is going to shift our heart space too. So Mercury jumps into play. Mercury in Leo bumps into the true node. And of course, the true node wants to remind us of the vision of the dream that we're looking to manifest. Mercury in Leo is pumping us up, seeing the great grand vision, seeing where it is that we need to really expand our mental planes, where it is we need to be bold in our thinking, brave in our communication, courageous in making our ideas actually come into physical reality. And in this moment, there is a shift in our mental plane, a shift in the mental evolution of the process that we've just gone through that is leading us into a shift in our spiritual growth. This is something that you can't come back down from. This is where the darker forces that have been triggering us over the last couple of days have an aha moment that they're losing. Why? Because we're triumphant. Every single time that those darker energies are pulling us back down into the old, into those negative vibrations and frequencies of our thoughts and our emotions, suddenly we pull ourselves out of it. It might take a little bit, and it's happening a lot quicker for us now that we are acting as the observer instead of reacting from our ego. And this particular aspect is reminding us of our meaning, of our purpose. It is showing us the big picture of the reason of why we have to abandon what it is that we're no longer aligned with to follow suit in pursuing what it is that our heart and soul is now asking of us. This is a major shift in our mental plane and in our heart space. We cannot rewind from this. This is pushing us to the next level of enlightenment, of our confidence, of our self-esteem. And it is setting us up for a beautiful energy as we move closer to this new moon in Leo, to this Lionsgate portal, to this next timeline split, to this next renewal of soul contracts.